So yeah, we'll continue our discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 13, chapter titled Dhṛtarāṣṭra quits home. So in the previous sessions, we actually discussed about how the conversation between Sutta Goswami saying to the Naimisharanya sages. So Sutta Goswami till now he describes about the birth of Maharaj Parikshit and everything, uh, answering to the questions of Naimisharanya sages. And now he's going to describe about the events which leads to the coronation of Parikshit Maharaj. Means how he becomes the king or emperor of the whole world, and he is describing about the life of Maharaj Parikshit. So this is not getting. So in this chapter, okay, we will be discussing about how Dhritarashtra quits home. Okay, after the battle of Kurukshetra, when where the Pandavas and Kauravas has fought, Kauravas were finally destroyed with the Krishna on the side of Pandavas, and um, the Pandavas then to take the make the Hastinapur as their capital, and then started ruling the entire Bharatavarsha. And from there. Even though Dhritarashtra was son of the Kauravas, still he was the uncle of Pandavas also. So Dhritarashtra stayed within the house of the Pandavas. And Yudhishthir Maharaj installed Dhritarashtra as a king because he doesn't want to, because his sons were dead, and taking that as an advantage, he doesn't want to, remove the Dhritarashtra from his post. So Yudhishthira Maharaj continued same Dhritarashtra as a king, but and actively he was making the entire rule, Yudhishthira Maharaj. So when the situation was like that, and Dhritarashtra was happy in his whole, like not happy means he is just leading life on the throne or on the uh, literally is not the actually the king, but he was given the respect above king. Means king respects Dhritarashtra. So so in that sense, he is enjoying the power and the facilities of the provided by the Pandavas. So and when the situation in Hastinapur is like that, so Vidura in the beginning of Kurukshetra war, he was insulted by Duryodhana. Because when the Kurukshetra war, when the talks to avoid the war was going on, Duryodhana was not listening to anybody. He's not listening to his father. He's not listening to his Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya. Even when Krishna comes as a messenger and tries to convey him, just give them 5 villages, they will be satisfied. And Duryodhana was not willing to listen to the instructions or listen to the opinions of the others. He was just inclined to killing the Pandavas and usurping the kingdom, taking of their kingdom. So at that point of time, Vidra actually one time he became so hard, so he became so tough on Duryodhan. I says, and he instructed Dhritarashtra in front of Duryodhan only. You should actually uh, disown this son. Means he is just sent away from the kingdom. He because of his presence, everybody in this kingdom will be died, will meet the death. So so that was a great suggestion actually. If Dhritarashtra would have followed that, he would have at least saved at least 99 of his sons and his kingdom, and everybody in the Kuru family would have been living nicely. But Dhritarashtra, out of blind affection towards Duryodhan, he doesn't take Vidura's message seriously. And when Duryodhana was hearing this conversation between the Vidura and Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana becomes furious. How dare this person ask me to uh, throw me off the kingdom? Mm. So what he does, Duryodhana, he comes and he says, he insults Vidura, saying that you are the son of a kept maid servant and Dasi Putra. How can you, know? It is our fault to give you such a position, and now I just because you are related to this family, I'm just leaving you with your breath. You just get out of this kingdom. So Vidura taking this as an opportunity, mm, gives up all his arms and ammunitions, and then like he places his bow at the entrance of the door of Hastinapur, and then goes on pilgrimage. Mm. So that way, Vidura intelligently avoided fighting against the Pandavas. If Vidura stayed in the uh, Hastinapur along with the Kauravas, then he has to be an instrument in the hands of Duryodhan to fight against the Pandavas. Mm. It is said that Vidura is a very powerful person. He is very he has a lot of power in fighting also. So uh, it is like I didn't know that authenticity of that scripture, but it is said that nobody would have been like Pandavas would not have been never won. That kind of situation would have arisen because just like Bhishma Deva was so powerful and Dronacharya was so powerful, they both are invincible. Then nobody can defeat them. And Vidra, if Vidra might have added, this some more difficulty for the Pandavas to win that battle. So Vidra intelligently avoided the battle of Kurukshetra and went on pilgrimage. So when he was on pilgrimage, he was meeting many saintly people and visiting many holy places. And finally, he met Maitreya Rishi and he heard entire Srimad Bhagavatam from Maitreya Rishi. So after the conversation between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura ended, then Vidura realized the essence of the teachings of Maitreya Rishi, that uh, Bhakti Yoga or loving devotional service to Krishna is the ultimate purpose of life. And no, Antya Narayana Smriti means remembering Krishna at the time of death is the ultimate success of human form of life. So when so he comes, Vidura comes to know about the status about what is happening in Yadu's dynasty, how they annihilated themselves. They all the Yadu dynasty was destroyed, and how entire in the battle of Kurukshetra, how the Pandavas won, and how all the Kauravas, all the sons of Dhritarāṣṭra were killed in the battle. So he taking the pity on Dhritarāṣṭra, or out of his compassionate nature, he actually starts thinking about Dhritarashtra. This blind person, he was so blinded by his moha, means affection towards his son, and now he, even though he lost his son, he is still living in the house of the Pandavas, who are his whom he considered as enemies, and taking their food, and he will not be able to achieve the spiritual perfection if he still continues like that. So taking this compassionate, taking this thinking about Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra was his elder brother. So he comes to Hastinapur, where Dhritarashtra was staying with the Pandavas. So seeing Vidura, no, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Kunti, and others, they become so happy. They hurried to receive him. And it is described like as if they regained their consciousness after a long time. So, and when Vidura arrives and everybody exchanges greetings and pays obeisances to each other, and then it is said that they actually cried out of affection, because there is a lot of death involved in the family due to the Kurukshetra war, and they lost so many people. And Vidura was one of the powerful person, and who could have easily tackle the situation of consoling everybody or doing the necessary actions what are required for the betterment of the family. But there is no proper guidance at that point of time. Pandavas were by themselves, and it would have been better if a person like Vidura stayed with the Pandavas at that critical moment. So when Vidura came back, they actually rejoiced. Everybody in Hastinapur rejoiced. Even the ladies of other ladies, even the Gandhari and others, the wives of Kauravas who lost their husbands, like that. So everybody rejoiced, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj gave a nice, so he fed Vidura sumptuously, and then allow him to take rest so that he get free from the fatigue caused by the journey. So that is the way, like Srimad Bhagavatam also teaches us how we should treat a person who did a long journey and came back. Even though if the situation is pressing, we should not overwhelm them with our questions or concerns and like that. So first we should understand the situation, and take care of their needs, give them nice food, and ask them to first of all, you should ask them to take bath, or give them nice food, and give them sufficient time to take rest and get relaxed. After that, giving a considerable amount of time for the relaxation, then we can talk to them, or we can ask any inquiries from them. So after Yudhishthira Maharaj does all these things to Vidura, and finally in the next day morning, Yudhishthira Maharaj approaches Vidura, and Yudhishthira Maharaj quotes certain experiences, previous experiences. Actually, it is said that the greatest crisis of the Pandavas' life is the war of Kurukshetra. But still, Vidura was not there at that point of time. But Yudhishthira Maharaj was remembering some incidents which took place when they were small kids, when they were children. Because when Duryodhan tries to poison the food of the Bhima, and also when he actually made the Pandavas to stay in Lakshagru, means the house of lac, and set it on fire. Vidura is the one who actually, in the first case, when Bhima is poisoned, the Pandavas were not able to find Bhima for good amount of time, because when he was poisoned, and when he became unconscious, Duryodhana and his party threw Bhima in the river, or in the lake, and Kunti Maharani and all the Pandavas were very much frightened, and they were very much worried. At that point of time, Vidura gave them solace by encouraging words, and how, everything will be fine. So it is very difficult to, basically Kunti Maharani, she lost her husband, and she is only living to take care of the children. And at that point of time, the words of encouragement, the words of hope makes a great difference. So Vidura was one of such persons who actually protected them by his counseling. Sorry. And when Duryodhana made this plan of burning the Pandavas in the house of lac, Vidura is the one who gave the Pandavas hints about that's saying that there is going to be a murder attempt on you. You should be watchful about that, and also what kind of murder attempt. When the Duryodhana made arrangements to send out Pandavas to the place where he constructed the house made of lac. Vidura understood the entire situation. Vidura knows the mentality of Duryodhana, and gives caution to the Yudhishthir and the Pandavas, saying that there is going to be a murder attempt. Now he, in a indirect way, he give, no, even though everybody is listening to the words of the Vidura, he said to Pandavas, no, like any weapon made of natural elements may is very dangerous. And but if you know about your enemy and his nature, then you will be well protected. No weapon like that can harm you. And second hint he gives is uh, this fire, no, like some indirect hint about the fire. Okay, how fire can, no, fire of ignorance, like that. He says indirectly that there is the mode of attack is going to be with fire. And also it is said that, no, he after the Pandavas moved into the Lakshagriha, he actually sent a messenger from him and says when how the attack is going to be and how they have to make plans to exit from this danger. Mm. That's how the Pandavas they become they make a underground tunnel, and then follows the instruction of Vidura to mislead entire the Duryodhana's plans, and so that they can be saved. So Yudhishthir Maharaj is quoting all these experiences, like he says, you protected us like just like a mother hen protects her chick, chick, chicks with its wings. In the same way, you gave us protection. So it is a quality of a Vaishnava. Yudhishthir Maharaj would have blamed, like, where were you when I was going through such a horrible time of Kurukshetra war? If you do, it would have been better if you stayed back and then give me and supported me, but you are not there. You went on pilgrimage. What is, why like that? You should have made some kind of these no things. But Vidura, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he only recollected what are the favorable situations that Vidura has done. What are the most helpful experiences that Yudhishthira Maharaj and his and the Pandavas had through Vidura. So he was recalling all those things. So that is the what we have to remember is from this episode that, whenever we may have some mixed experiences with some devotees, right? Some devotees might have done good for us for some time, but due to circumstances they might have also done bad, not acted favorably for us. But whenever we meet them, we should only recall the favorable situations that we favorable things that we got through them. So Yudhishthira Maharaj greets them, and finally Yudhishthira Maharaj asks Vidura, like I would like to know about your travel. How did you maintain yourself like that? Right now, Vidura is in renounced order of life. He took sannyas basically. So it is like, it's not a what you call apt question for a sannyasi. How are you eating? Are you comfortable? How are you sleeping? These kind of questions should not be kept for a sannyasi. Means, like, if you see, uh, our questions should be very relevant and very, uh, very appropriate for with the person with whom we are conversing. When in Ramayan, when what do you call, his name Vishwamitra comes to the assembly of uh, Dasharath Maharaj asks, how are your endeavors to get out of the cycle of material existence going through? Are you doing nice tapasya, or is there any impediments for your sadhana? Is there any way that I can help you? And Vishwamitra asks, how is your kingdom? Are you nicely ruling? Are you keeping your family happy? Are you nicely protecting your praja? Like that means our questions should be very relevant and very realistic, and also very appropriate to the situation, to the person, and to his position. Mm. So in the same way, Yudhishthira Maharaj, Vidura right now is a sannyasi, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, how are you maintaining yourself? How do you maintain? And like that, that kind of question is not that seem to be irrelevant for a sannyasi. Sannyasi doesn't care about what he eats, where he stays, and how he maintains himself. So, but Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking these questions only to get inspiration from him. Hmm. Like, if you ask some sannyasi, how did, like, if you see the life of Srila Prabhupada, we actually Satsvarup Maharaj wrote entire book of Prabhupada Leelamrit, the how he may gone through different situations, how he survived, even though so much of financial troubles, even though he managed to get to America and start preaching and succeeded in his preaching mission. So Satsvarup Maharaj writes this entire history of Prabhupada Leelamrita only to inspire others. What is how to dependent on Krishna. So when we are conversing, when you are talking to any senior devotee or a sannyasi, we should we should ask questions in such a way that their response, their answers will be inspire us to take shelter of Krishna more, or increase our dependency on Krishna. Hmm. Because sannyasis, the main characteristics of sannyasis is they are fearless, because they completely dependent for their survival and for their protection on Krishna, because they don't carry any weapons. They just walk in the forest and sleep somewhere in the nights. So it is the life of sannyasi is full of dangers, because he has no proper home, he has no proper uh, family, he has nobody to take care of him when he becomes sick, when he becomes hungry, when he becomes, endangered by any living entities. He only he only takes shelter of Krishna. He is fully surrendered to Krishna. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, how did you maintain yourself? This question to Vidura, only to get inspiration from his experiences. And finally, he again says, just to know, if that is misunderstood, Yudhishthira Maharaj again says to Vidura, no, devotees like you are like holy places personified. No, this is a nice words that we can remember also. Bhagavat Vida Bhagavata Tirthi Tirtha Bhutani Swayam Vibhu Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantastena Gada Abrita. He says, you devotees like you are holy places personified. You purify the holy places because you carry the Supreme Lord within your heart. So he is concerning, he is mainly asking that question only to get inspiration, like, how he is by knowing his Vidura's dependence on Krishna. So if you see, like, Prabhupada also mentioned about this episode many times, how, we should always dependent on Krishna. And also, like Tirtha means the holy place. Holy place means the where the holy people stays, the devotees stay. So when we visit a holy place, we have to. It is not like we go to holy place and just bathe in a water body or a river, or a lake or something like that. No, it's not like that. When we visit a holy place, we have to find a devotee and try to listen from him. And because the devotees visits the holy place, that's how the holy place becomes holy. Mm. No, there is a nice story, when uh, Ganga Devi was lot of sinful. No, when Ganga Devi comes to know that Kali Yuga is going to come, she approaches Lord Krishna and then says, "No, my Lord, I cannot stay in this earthly planet. I will also go underneath the earth, just like Saraswati. Saraswati river, she flows in the earth, right? So Ganga Devi says, I will also flow underneath the earth, so that all the sinful people does not come and dump their sins in me." Hmm. So when Ganga Devi asked for that, uh, when proposes this thing to Krishna, Krishna says, "Don't worry, you flow as it is. You take all the sins of all the sinful people. But in Kali Yuga, not in Kali Yuga, even in any age, my devotees will come and take bath in your holy water. When they take bath, they will purify you, because they are holding Krishna in their heart." So that's how the Ganga Devi agreed to flow on the surface and not to disappear from the earthly planet. But it is said, over the progression of Kali Yuga, when there are no devotees, Ganga Devi also will, what do you call? disappear from this earthly planet. So and when this conversation between Vidura and Yudhishthir Maharaj is happening, Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking questions. So he asks about all these questions, and finally he comes to the point what he actually wanted to know. No? He says about he talks about Dwarakavasis and also their service to Krishna, and he inquires. Yudhishthir Maharaj inquires about how Krishna is doing, how is he do, in like you because Vidura visited all the holy places, and Mathura and Dwarka are foremost among the holy places. So for the Vaishnavas, so he expected that Vidura might have already visited Dwarka, so he wanted to know about the well-being of Krishna and his family. So and in response to your Yudhishthira Maharaj's questions, Vidura has responded them for all the questions. Except for the annihilation. He gave all the information what he knows, and but he didn't mention about the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty. Why? Because no, like devotees, or we should not actually, not only devotees, we should not actually be like we should not propagate any negative message or convey any message which causes distress to the other person. So if you see the news channels right now, they are only focusing on conveying some rape, some murder, some scandals, all those things. They actually keep bombarding the society with this information, but they don't propagate anything positivity happening that in the society. So this is actually not acceptable according to the Vedic injunctions or the Shastras. This says we should not be the instrument in delivering a bad news to any person. If it is the truth will find its own path. You know, we should not if that person is supposed to know, he will know by some way or other. But if you feel that this truth is going to help that person in his Krishna consciousness, or if we think that like hiding this truth from him is going to harm him, then we should actually try a best means to convey the message. We have to first think, am I the right person to convey the message? And is there any better person who can convey this message? And we have to see the authority also. We have to see who is the best person, either the family member or relative or a spiritually elevated person than us who can convey this message to the other person. And the next thing is, but if we end up to the point that we find no one but we have to convey that message, we should take utmost care to convey the message in a most appropriate manner so that the message doesn't agitate the other person. So in Bhagavad Gita, it is said that, right, among all the like the talks or the conversations, if our speaking to other person agitates him or her, it means that it is not in mode of goodness. So we should put the message in such a way that we should actually find a way to convey the message in such a way that it will not agitate them, but at the same time the mission is accomplished, means the message is transmitted to them. So but Vidura does not want to deal with all those things, so he just avoided explaining about the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty. So and then after having a nice conversation with all the Pandavas, and all the greeting sessions is over, then Vidura actually Vidura actually stays. Vidura right now is sannyasi, right? He took sannyasa. So Vidura actually stays in the Hastinapur for some more time. Hmm. So just because no, it is said in Bhagavatam, just Vidura is Yamaraj himself. Just to enlighten Duryodhana, sorry, Dhṛtarāṣṭra, he stayed for some more time. As per the Vedic injunctions, the sannyasi should keep traveling from one home to another home so that they don't get attachments or they don't develop any attachment to any person. So, Vidura stayed in the Hastinapur just to for the benefit of the people in Hastinapur. So, I just this is so now here in while quoting this situation in Hastinapur, who is that? My Shaunaka Rishi, he quotes this verse, nice verse, na? Evam gruhesu saktanam pramattanam tada iha at- atyakra atyakramad avignata kala paramadustaram. So he says, like the power of insurmountable time imperceptibly overcomes the intoxicated and attached householders. So this is referring to Dhṛtarāṣṭra. So right now Vidra's mission is to enlighten Dhṛtarāṣṭra and make him take shelter of Krishna or engage in spiritual practice. So one fine day, Vidra sits with Dhṛtarāṣṭra and then start the conversation. He says, Vidra says to Dhṛtarāṣṭra, "Dear king," he addressed Dhṛtarāṣṭra as king because all his life Dhritarashtra wanted him to be the king. So just to be in a mockery way or just to please him or in a different, there are different reasons that different acharyas gives for this. Okay, he says Vidura says to Dhritarashtra, "Dear king, please get out of here immediately. Just see how fearful time has overtaken you." So here and he explains about death cannot be contracted by anyone. It is a supreme lord or as Kala who approaches us all. So time forces everyone to surrender everything, including wealth, honor, children, home, land, everyone's life. Okay, and he says all your relatives are dead. Your fathers, brothers, well-wishers, sons, and all are dead. And your body is overtaken by invalidity, and you are now living in another's home. So visible symptoms of old age were old age, like no, you are blind by birth, and now you are deaf and shortened by memory and lose teeth. Your digestion is weak, and you are coughing up mucus. Uh, and he says, but how powerful are the hopes of the living beings to continue his life? You are living like a house dog, taking food from Bhima. So I will just read through the conversation and I'll explain. Okay. So there is no need for you to live on the charity of those whom you have tried to kill by fire and by poison, and whose wife you insulted and whose wealth you stole. And despite of your unwillingness to die but remain alive at the cost of honor and death, at the cost of honor, death is approaching you. Okay, it is one who goes to the remote place and freed from all obligations quits his material body when it is become useless. So he's describing, he is the one, like Dhira is the one, who actually quits his body in a proper way. Okay. So Narottama, the first class man, is one who leaves the home and develops indifference to the material attachment, either by himself or through the inspiration of others, to depend fully on Lord Hari, residing in the heart. So leave now to the north, adapt the path of Dhira before Kali Yuga approaches. So here, basically, by the time with this conversation between Vidura and Dhritarashtra is happening, Krishna has already departed. So it is like until that point of time when Krishna was there, Vidura was okay. Let me give some. We can take some more time. We can take chance. Maybe he gets Krishna's mercy like that, or no, maybe he will get transformed like that. But right now it is the emergency time of critical situation, because Krishna has already left the planet, and this Dhritarashtra, he's become old and still has so much attachment in his mind towards his maintenance, his position, and his family, and he is staying in the house of Pandavas, whom he killed throughout his life. He tried to kill them through his son. No? So it is said that Duryodhana is the expansion of Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra was blind and invalid. So the intense desire for sense enjoyment, for being able to controllership nature of Dhritarashtra is Duryodhana himself. So, and in the form of Dhritarashtra through Duryodhan, he tries to kill the Pandavas. He tries to by fire, by poison, and he insulted Draupadi Devi in the assembly. So, and at the end, when all his sons are killed, this Dhritarashtra shamelessly sitting in the house of Pandavas and taking food from the hands of Bhima. This service is practically given to Bhima only by Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj said to Bhima, "You have to take care of our uncle and aunt." Uncle means Bhima has to take care of Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. So every day Bhima used to come and bring food for the both of them. So seeing this, Vidura is chastising Dhritarashtra. Like it is said that Vaishnavas are softer than rose petals and harder than thunderbolts. When it is required, they are like soft and they are very pleasingly they speak, but sometimes they speak very harshly, and because so that we wake up, we actually come to reality and see how we are leading our lives. So that's how uh, uh, it is both the cases, even if they are soft or even if they are hard, it is due to their compassion for the other living entities, because to make them Krishna conscious, or so, or spiritually uh, encourage them to make spiritual progress in their lives. So Vidura, who has been very kind and very mild throughout his life to Dhritarashtra, now he is acting very harshly upon them. Basically he is literally scolding them, insulting them to the like, because unless right now there is nobody to tell Dhritarashtra, because as a brother he has some authority over Dhritarashtra. So it is he feels it is his duty to enlighten them or educate them to take up spiritual practice or renounce this material worldly material attachment and go towards Vanaprastha and take full shelter of Krishna, so that he can be nicely he can attain the perfection of human form of life. So it is said that in the Vidura, actually no, we all know the past life of Vidura. Actually Vidura was, I will just in a short form will say, Vidura was Yamaraj himself in his previous life. So but Vidura was cursed by Mandavya Muni, when Mandavya Muni was given the punishment of Shula Dandan, because sitting on a sharp razor sharp knife, for the how Mandava Muni was accused of that punishment is, Mandava Muni was a saintly person who is meditating in the forest. One time, what happened? Some robbers, they steal some valuable gold ornaments from the king's palace, and they start running away. And seeing them, the soldiers started chasing them. So in order to escape from the soldiers, these thieves, they enter into the Mandava Muni's ashram, thinking that these soldiers will just go away. They will not enter into the ashram of a sage. Mhm. But on the contrary, that soldiers enters and they finds the thieves and the gold in the Mandava Muni's ashram, and they think this Mandava Muni is also is a part of this gang, and they also arrest him. So Mandayamuni says that okay, this is whatever is Lord's wish. He accepts it and goes to the king's palace. And king, without inquiring about this thing to Mandayamuni, he actually gives a punishment of death. Means like sitting on that shula. So means like they are actually, the shula will go into their body. Mm. So after death, this Mandayamuni goes to Yamaraj, and then asks, why I have gone through this punishment? Why you have given me this punishment? So, and Yamaraj says, when you are a child, you actually caught a dragonfly and you actually inserted a straw into the body of the dragonfly. So in order to reap your the reactions of your previous karma, you have to go through this situation. Then when Mandayamuni hears this judgment, he becomes little very upset, because a child, a sinful reaction performed by the child is not accountable, because child is not in knowledge. Because it is said that with knowledge comes a responsibility. That's why even in the modern day law, if a crazy person does something wrong, or uh, or a intoxicated person does something wrong, considering their mental imbalance, the punishment will be reduced. And of course, this situation will be taken advantage by many people. So, but still, that is the law. Mm. So, but Yamaraj has given the punishment for the mistake that is committed by the Mandava Muni when he was very early in his early childhood. Mm. So, but it is said that Yamaraj is full of knowledge. He is one of the 12 Mahajans. He is well knower of Dharma. How can he commit such mistakes? It is said that it is by the will of the Lord. Lord was very very much compassionate upon the position of Yamaraj. Being a great devotee, he has to always surrounded by all the criminals and demoniac people. So, in order to give him a break, in order to make him a part of this, his lila, Lord has made this arrangement. Mm, So, by the will of the Lord, only the devotees makes mistakes. Okay, like there is like Lord takes full responsibility when any mistakes committed by the devotee. So, in order to give this chance to Yamaraj, then this Mandavamuni becomes very upset with Yamaraj's judgment and curses Yamaraj, saying that you fall down to the earthly planet and take a birth. You become a Sudra. You are not acting like a Vaishnava. You should become a Sudra, and he curses them. So that's how Yamaraj, in his next life, he becomes Vidura, son of the maid servant. So Vidura was the son of Vyasadeva and maid servant. The maid servant's name is Parishrami. Mm. So, like now we all know that how Vidura becomes the son of mm, Vyasdeva, or takes birth in the family of uh, Kuru dynasty. So that's another story. We can discuss it another time. So basically, in short, when when my Vyasdeva was impregnating the princesses of Hastinapur, like the Vichitravirya, who is the heir of the Hastinapur, who is the king of Hastinapur, he has two wives. who is Ambika and Ambalika, and but he this Vichitra Vira dies without begetting any children from his wives, and his wives are so young, and there is nobody to there is no way to it's like a emergency in the lineage, family lineage. So there is no way to uh, there is no person in the family to become a next king. So there is no descendant actually. So in order to get out of the situation, as per the injunctions of the Shastras, the impregnation by a enlightened soul is approved. Okay, so so it is getting sidetracked. So in this process, when Vyasdeva comes to impregnate this the princess of the Hastinapur, the one of the princess will get frightened, and she sent, instead of she going, she sent a maid servant. Her name is Parishrami. She goes to get impregnation from Vyasdeva, and she gets impregnation from Vyasdeva, and that when due to that Vidura was born. So Vidura was basically son of Vyasdev, or son of the royal dynasty. So, so he was very much enlightened from the beginning, but still he actually received all this great knowledge from great sages like Maitreya Rishi and other personalities. He personally is a devotee of Krishna. He's a great devotee of Krishna. So now Vidura, with his all knowledge, he knows what is good for Dhritarashtra. That's why he is preaching Dhritarashtra very strongly. So that he will take up the process of spiritual realization. So, and Vidura chastises Dhritarashtra and ask him to get out of this palace, and fully become fully dependent on Krishna. So, following the advice of Vidura, Dhritarashtra leaves the palace, becoming fully dependent on Krishna. Even though he was blind and he was so weak, he just depends himself on Krishna, and then he just walks away from the palace. So Gandhari, who is a chaste lady, who is the no, who was very faithful to her husband, she realizes that the Dhritarashtra is leaving the palace, and she also follows his path. So both Gandhari and Dhritarashtra leaves the palace of Hastinapur and goes to the forest. So what happened afterwards? When in the next day morning, when Yudhishthir comes to know, every day what happened, Yudhishthir after waking up, he does his Sandhya Vandan and do all the morning greetings to take all the morning, actually morning duties, take care of all the morning duties. And first thing he used to do is, after taking darshan of Krishna in the morning in the temple, he used to come to Dhritarashtra directly to take their blessings every day. So the next day when Yudhishthir comes to do that, he finds no one. He didn't find Dhritarashtra, he didn't find Gandhari, he didn't find Vidura. So then he started lamenting. No, it is the nature of the Vaishnavas to always be self-aware, always find faults with themselves than others. So Yudhishthir Maharaj starts thinking, no, what happened? Did I do anything wrong? Or so he starts lamenting, and I actually killed all their children. That's why now they are not happy until this point, until now. And finally they actually took the decision to abandon me, or left from my palace. That's how he was thinking and lamenting. And he asked Sanjay also. Sanjay was the assistant of the Dhritarashtra, because when we see the Srimad Bhagavad Gita was narrated to Dhritarashtra by Sanjaya only, because Vyasdeva gives this divine vision to know what is happening in the Kurukshetra war, to narrate to Dhritarashtra. So in that way, Sanjaya is the one who narrated entire Srimad Bhagavad Gita to Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra has this pious credit also, listening entire Bhagavad Gita through Sanjaya, the Krishna's message. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj was lamenting like this, Narada Muni happened to visit Yudhishthira Maharaj. Narada Muni comes to the palace of Hastinapur. So when Narada Muni arrives, Yudhishthira Maharaj nicely welcomes him and with in appropriate manner and and uh, uh, does all the he offers all the respects and all the argyas and everything, and then when Narada Muni asks, "What is why are you lamenting? Why you feel like you are deeply immersed in something? I can sense something going on in your mind." Then Yudhishthira Maharaj puts forth this question. I am worried about my uncle and aunt who are very old and who needs protection. They left my home. I couldn't find them anywhere. And I'm worried about them, and I don't know what offense I have committed to them. Like that, he's lamenting. So then Narada Muni says, Narada Muni, basically then directly come to the point. He says, how we should dependent on Krishna. He says, Narada Muni says, everyone is under the Lord's control. Yat Ishvara Vasham Jagat. He is the leader of all. He brings the living entities together and disperses them. So do not lament. So Narada Muni doesn't directly say that. No, he says he gives the first philosophy. He generalizes everything first, and then when they are little bit, when they uh, when they start observing the message, when they take that message, then they become little bit consoled, and then comes to more personalized aspect. This is a style of Narada Muni. So he gives first philosophy. Why are you worrying about all those things? Like, it is Krishna or the Lord Himself who brings us all together and separates us all. So don't lament on them. So just like a player sets up and disperses the playthings by his own sweet will, similarly the Lord brings men together and separates them by his supreme will. So just like a cow is controlled by the rope tied to its nose, in the same way we are actually controlled by the Lord's will. Okay, and then this lamentation in separation is only due to the illusory effect, whether you consider the self as the soul or the body or neither or both. So what does that mean? Means if you consider like this lamentation, this feeling of lamentation is illusory, means it is not factual also, because if you consider you are a soul, then there is no destruction for the soul. And when you consider this body is anyhow temporary, so it is prone to get destroyed at some point of time. Mm. Even if you consider so that we are both body and soul, still so like there is no point of lamenting also, because due to their karmic destiny, we actually take birth at certain point of time, live for certain time, and then leaves this present body and takes another birth. So and Narada Muni encourages Yudhishthira Maharaj, say that give up this thinking that no, they are poor, they are helpless, no, and he quotes a nice shloka. Uh, Verse number 40, he says, Kala karma gunadino dehoyam panchabhautikam kata katams anyamstu gopayet sarpagrasto yata param. So you are considering your relatives, as helpless or no, who needs protection. Who are you to protect them? You yourself needs protection, because just like a frog who is about to be who is in the uh, mouth of a snake tries for the protection of or tries to protect somebody. You yourself is under the influence of time. So like just like if somebody falls in a river, like and we there is another person drowning, we ourselves need to get out of the river first, and then we have to rescue the other person. If we try to rescue the same person, that then we ourselves will get drowned. Means like just like in aeroplanes they say, right, first secure yourself, your mask when there is no air, there is no oxygen in the plane, then try to help others. So in the same way, Narada Muni is also saying, you yourself is not protected, you yourself is not safe in this material world, what to think of others. And he says, why are you worrying about their well-being? Lord is the one who takes care. This material nature is arranged by the Lord. We are not taking care of any animal in this world. Why should we worry about your uncle and aunt? Just like one living entity is the food of another. He says in the 47 verse. This is also famous verse. Ahastani sahastanam apadani chatushpadam palguni tatra mahatam jivo jivasya jivanam. The translation is, the handless are the prey for those who have hands, and those devoid of the legs are the prey for those prey for the four-legged, and the weak are the subsistence of the strong. So one living being is the food for another. So he is directly saying, like, like, there is no need to worry about the what you call portion or the food of your uncle and aunt. They can survive by some means. And finally he says, focus only on the Supreme Lord, who is one without a second, and who manifests himself by different energies. So when we are attached to our uh, temporary material identifications, when we are concerned about uh, how I identify, I'm the king, I'm the maintainer of all, then we tend to focus our consciousness will be filled with aham, means ahankar, the false ego. I am the maintainer. If I don't protect them, nobody can protect them. They will be helpless. That kind of mentality that Narada Muni is saying to these Maharaj, you come out of that kind of mentality first, because you are not the ultimate protector, and everything is already arranged by the will of the Lord. And He's the one who protects. He's the one who brings all of us together, and He's the one when the time is up. He's the one who disperses all of us. So don't worry about the situation. So right now you should patiently follow the plan of Krishna. So you should always be Krishna conscious and try to understand what is the plan of Krishna. And then he says, the Lord has completed his, now like Narada Muni is saying, you don't worry about all these petty things. Now you focus on what is the plan of Krishna. Lord has come here to do uh, to protect the pious people and to punish the miscreants. So I feel that the Lord has fully accomplished his whatever the thing that has to be done in this material world, and Lord might be leaving this material world. So, and Narada Muni says, no, like you are worrying about your uncle and aunt. No, I will tell you what their future is. Okay. So he says, no, your uncle and aunt have gone to Himalayas, and the place where the Ganga, like no, Sapta Strota. So the place where Ganga was divided into 7 for the satisfaction of Saptarshis. Okay, there Dhṛtarāṣṭra now engaged in Ashtanga Yoga. So Ashtanga he is trying to control his mind and free himself from the thoughts of family and absorb himself in the Lord Hari, and uh, he is trying to get himself from the effect of the 3 modes. So Dhṛtarāṣṭra will merge into the Supreme Being, realizing his qualitative oneness with him. So destroying all his impressions arising from the material modes, stopping all the enjoyment of the senses or eating, renouncing all the material duties, he will be immovably established. Okay. So 5 days from now, Dhritarashtra will give up his body by his own mystic power and turn his body into ashes. Okay. And he will go to and then Yudhishthira Maharaj might say, okay, oh, then I will, if Dhritarashtra is going to leave the body, then I will go and bring my aunt Gandhari. So Narada Muni says, your aunt Gandhari, what she will, she realizes that Dhritarashtra is giving up his body, so he performs sati and she enters into that fire. And then she she and enters into the fire and will she also attains the same destination. So and then then Vidram that what do you call, Yudhishthira Maharaj might say, okay, then I will go back and get Vidra now. So then for Vidra, what Narada says, Vidra will go for pilgrimage, both delighted and aggrieved at seeing the astonishing event. Why Vidra is aggrieved and at the same time pleased? Because Vidra is pleased to see how Dhritarashtra at least got impersonal liberation rather than taking another birth in this material world. So, but he was aggrieved because even though he was preached by the great devotees, he failed to attain the love of Godhead. Means he failed to attain favorable devotional service towards Krishna. That's why he didn't go to any of the Vaikuntha planets or Golok Vrindavan. He only got a impersonal liberation. So that's why this Vidura was little bit of aggrieved to see the situation of Dhritarashtra. But at the same time, he was also happy because he achieved something. Some just like something is better than nothing. So he achieved some spiritual uh, destination. So and finally, Narada Muni says all these things and then ascended. And Maharaj Yudhishthir kept his instructions in his heart and was freed from all lamentations. So, if you observe one more thing, Yudhishthir Maharaj also getting different kinds of messages from different people. Basically, uh, when he's speaking with Vidura, Vidura himself was quotes a words, this verse as I previously quoted. This, no, not Vidura, Maitreya Rishi quotes this verse. So, seeing this renunciation of Vidura, and also about hearing from Narada Muni that about Krishna's departure and all, Vidura is also getting all these instructions, just like what do you call, for or intimations about what is going to happen in future. So hearing this all the pastimes about how his three relatives, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, and Vidura have dealt for the spiritual perfection, and achieve the spiritual perfection in the by proper dealing in their last lives. So this gives a proper instruction, proper message to Yudhishthira also. And Narada Muni says, "You, Lord is going to leave this planet, and you may stay as long as you want in this world, and then get out of this material world," like that he says. So, so Yudhishthir Maharaj keeps all these messages in his heart. Means he gets the message. Means next project, like right now, attaining the kingdom, fighting the Kurukshetra war, uh, getting the kingdom and getting rid of sinful reactions, and then ruling all citizens nicely. But one after another, he did everything for the pleasure of the Lord. Now Narada Muni is directly saying, now your next goal is to renounce like this, renounce like this, this material, this kingly positions, and then go for renunciation. That's how you attain the perfection of human form of life. So that is the end of the chapter. If you have any questions or comments, we can take here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
You're able to follow, right, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. It's a big chapter, right?
Yeah, it's a big chapter. Any questions, Mataji? You have any clarifications or any comments?
Only one thing I did not understand, Prabhu. When Krishna left this world, so Yudhishthira did not know immediately, but Vidra is in the pilgrimage. He knows, right?
Yes. Vidura
But
knows, Narada knows, but they don't convey the message to Yudhishthir Maharaj because, as I said, one should not convey the bad news to anyone.
mm,
Like any news that agitates other person should not be conveyed. But at the same time, one may ask, then how will that person know about the fact? No.
mm,
So there, Acharya is right. The truth will find its own accord. If the like no, the, if that if they want, if they are supposed to know, they will know by some means. But we should not personally be that carrier of the bad news to anybody who which will agitate or which will brings this no, anxiety to others. So we should just leave it to the Lord, and then we should not convey this bad news to anybody. But if you feel that as I said, if you feel that this knowing this truth is important, then we should actually find a proper person to convey the message, or if nobody is available, we should actually uh, figure out proper way to convey the message without agitating them so much. So that's why both Narada Muni also did not say, Vidura also did not say. By this time, Vidura comes to see Yudhishthir Maharaj. The entire Yadu dynasty was annihilated, and Lord has already departed to his abode.
mm.
So, but Vidura thought, no, this is not a pleasing news for Yudhishthir Maharaj. So he doesn't say anything about that.
So finally, who will tell Yudhishthira
You will come to
Maharaj?
know, Mata. You will come to know in
Okay.
future. You will
Okay.
come to know.
Okay.
Arjuna says that. Arjuna goes to Dwaraka, and then he sees Krishna's departure, and he sees the annihilation
Okay.
of Yudhishthira dynasty, and then he comes back and he'll say that chapters will come in future.
Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
So Vidura knows Prabhu, Krishna is going to go back. That's why he wanna go back, right?
Mataji, Vidura already knows because Vidura meets Uddhava, and Uddhava says that entire family of Yadus is destroyed. So
Okay.
that's why he doesn't want to convey that message to, but
Okay.
he doesn't want to convey that message to Yudhishthira Maharaj.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, my question is Subhadra is Krishna's sister and Arjuna is his brother-in-law. Like that, also they will come to know, right? But okay, you
No, they
mentioned
didn't come
later.
to because
Yeah.
not not even one person left in
Mm,
Vidura's no, Yadu dynasty. Only
mm,
very few, like
yes.
this Uddhava and this one more grandson of Krishna is there, right? What is his name?
Prajumna.
Not Pradyumna. Uh, some who constructed all these temples of Krishna in Vrindavan. I'm not able to recall his name. He was left, but nobody in the Yazid dynasty was left because Krishna sends whoever comes in from the demigods. Now, whoever devatas
Mm,
appeared in the Yazid dynasty, he sends back to their original position, and whoever Nityasiddha devotees, no, the devotees who came from the spiritual world, he sends back them sends them back to the spiritual world, and then finally he goes back to the
mm.
spiritual world.
Okay.
Okay, we'll end